The big news is that people can get together on a subject, on an issue. Then it matters. Then you get attention. So the spiritual side of it is we have to work together. Not every person going off and developing his own religious rituals or customs. We got to get together. It's no longer an individual issue. Godliness, God's purpose, God's opinion, it can't be personal anymore. It's got to be a collective thing. We got to be communicating with each other about it. And a united voice. Like, for example, prayer in public schools. Such a hot issue. Over what? Over what? Because somebody might mention a particular God that not everybody believes in. Really, is this what threatens us? Of all the threats that we're facing, this is the big one? If God forbid somebody mentions God, what is that? Well, that reveals something that we don't want to deal with. You know, we think we're a secular society. The West has become secular. We don't believe in God. We can't be bothered with rituals and with religion. Not true. The mention of God is so explosive. It is such dynamite. The possibility, the idea was that the day should begin in public schools, the day should begin with a prayer. The Rebbe actually suggested the prayer should be the simple words, "In God we trust." That's it. Can anybody object to that? It's already on our currency. In God we trust. Yeah. No, that would not be allowed. People fought against it intensely because that just opens the door to somebody mentioning which God. And that scares you? What is that? Obviously, God is still a very powerful notion, and so, okay, fine. No prayer, just a moment of silence to think about why you're going to school and what you want your life to be like. No, that's not good either. You know, violent crime is out of control, like literally out of control. And some blame it on guns. Has anybody watched a movie or a television show recently where there isn't a gun somewhere in the story? It's a beautiful story, it's romantic, and then all of a sudden somebody pulls out a gun. Why does everybody have a gun? And it's like a normal part, like you have a can opener and you have a gun. But there's a drawer for the can opener and there's a drawer for your gun. I'm not against guns, but what do you expect from a society that is raised on the violence that you see in, I was thinking recently that the police violence is because they watch too much television. They're not doing what they were trained to do. They're doing what they see on television, in the cop shows. It is so obviously glaring. People have grown up 2 generations now on violence and entertainment. Endless violence in the games and in the shows and in the books. And then we're shocked there's so much violence going on. So would it hurt to change the subject for a moment? Let's not talk about guns, and let's not talk about shootings, and let's think about why we're going to school. Quite harmless, I think. Why would anybody be against that? We're stopped thinking. We don't think. There's no plan, there's no vision, there's no purpose, there's no goal. Just keep on going. Yeah, but we're going in a bad direction. So if people who care would simply get together, not just write off a little text message saying, "Oh, yeah, I'm so upset." The truckers got together. How they did it, I don't know.
Pretty amazing.
They must talk to each other, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. I think everybody is getting together somehow, a little by little. And as you said, yes, the internet is definitely a big help. And those who think alike, they find each other, they find the groups that they enjoy interacting in and seeing the information that they're looking for in. And the thing is, it's definitely, I don't know. I see the physical. I'm just looking for the spiritual. How can people start to become alike thinkers in a spiritual sense?
We don't have to go too spiritual. Mothers concerned about what's going on in school. So they go to the school meetings or the Board of Education, and they make a big stink and they get thrown out and arrested. Not if there were 500,000 of them. And that's just a tiny fragment of the population of mothers with children in school. So if they would get together, if there would be a collective, then they wouldn't be ignored and they wouldn't be arrested.
Yeah,
that's spiritual.
Very. And I think actually we're very in an accelerated matter going in that direction. So this is at least what we can see, that parents are not going to take being on the sideline when their children's lives are being decided on. So I hope that is something. Thank you very much. Now the second thing I wanted to discuss today, it just happened yesterday during this show. It's called The View. It's during daytime. I'm assuming for people, who have time to watch television during the day. There are a few ladies that get together and express their point of view, different walks of life, different ages, and they have their opinion. It's a famous show, and the main host, the mediator of the show, is Whoopi Goldberg, who is a very well-known American television and movie actress. And she said something yesterday that is causing a lot of... she upset a lot of people. My question is did she upset them rightfully? Is there a reason to be upset over this? This is what she says. Holocaust was not about race, but about man's inhumanity to men. So, of course, was the Holocaust about race? Is she maybe even possibly right in her statement? Or are people right about being upset over her statement?
It may just be that the Holocaust was the only truly racist agenda. That there are superior human beings and there are inferior human beings, genetically so, and therefore the genetically inferior race has to be eliminated. It was so racist. It was non-political. There was no other issue. It was purely a Darwinian concept, which is race. So it's not that Jews were an easy victim because we didn't put up a resistance. Germany was involved in a world war. They were trying to conquer the world. Why would they be distracted from that with this insane obsession to kill Jews? The fact that Jews were not a threat should have made them irrelevant during a world war. So it's not because Jews are easy victims. They weren't looking for victims. They were looking for world domination. Big plans. They were not thugs looking to beat somebody up. So it was purely a race issue.
Rabbi Fridman, her comeback, like her apology, a little later in the same day, her comeback was that if you can't see it, her explanation was that if a Ku Klux Klan member was coming, she would definitely be on the radar because of her skin color. However, a Jewish person, not necessarily, because you can't really see a Jewish person. You can't visually tell a Jewish person apart from a non-Jewish person. Well, sort of. So this is her comeback, that racism has to be visual, and that is exactly what she meant. Is there any validity to that apology?
It's nonsense. If you're being precise, a race issue doesn't mean that one race hates another race. Why is there racism against Asians? Why? Because they're inferior? No, they're not. Nobody claims they're inferior. Nobody cares. Nobody goes into the truly race factors. They're different. They're weird. I don't like them. That's not race. The ones who were truly ideologically racist were the Germans, the Nazis. The whole thing was race. The whole thing was the superior human being and the inferior human being. And it didn't matter what you look like. So the very fact that Jews are not visibly different and yet were selected out, that's pure racism. No, I've got nothing else against you. You look like us, you behave like us, you talk like us, you eat the same foods, you married us. But genetically you're inferior. That is purely racist. It's not different religions, different customs, different looks, different tastes. No, it was purely race. Now, anyone you don't like becomes racist.
Thank you for that explanation, Rabbi Fridman. It's awesome. If I'm ever going to be asked what I think about it, at least I have something to say now. Another thing that I wanted to discuss today is the concept of couch potato. For a very, very long time in the United States, this concept wasn't frowned upon. It was something that people actually were pretty proud of. The pastime on the couch with a bucket of popcorn and a TV, was like an awesome thing. It's one of the best pastimes that people could imagine. And now that we see how physical things are causing spiritual things, how things are reflected, what kind of damage, if any, did that lifestyle of a couch potato, because I don't think it's any longer there, and not, kind of getting away from it. But did that kind of lifestyle cause any kind of internal damage, this physical activity, on the long term?
Who actually has time to sit and watch television like a couch potato? People complain that they're too busy, they have no time for anything. So who is the couch potato? College students who can't find a job. Okay, so it's not a television, so it's the computer. What is physically harmful inevitably is going to cause some spiritual damage, because the soul can only work through the body. If the body is not healthy, the soul is frustrated. The soul is imprisoned in the body when the body does not respond to what the soul needs and wants and demands. So physically, if I want to move my leg and it won't move, that is not only a mobile problem, a mobility problem, it's also a soulful problem. If my will cannot move my leg, I'm, in a sense, spiritually damaged. If I can't guide my body, if it's off on its own agenda, doing its own thing, then I have lost my spiritual, some semi-spiritual powers. So if my mouth talks without my mind engaged, I've lost control. And when the spiritual loses control over the physical, it's bad for both. Now let's get into the truly spiritual. If my purpose in life, now that's purely spiritual. But without that, everything falls apart. The body cannot function properly if I'm not focused or I'm not conscious of my purpose. Because the body, by nature, is a lazy creature. All it wants is a couch. It wants immobility. Just leave me alone. It's surprising that that is not healthy for the body, because it's all the body wants. To just do nothing, to be at rest. And yet, being at rest is so unhealthy for the body. Well, maybe it's not the body. The body would do well to be at rest all the time. Unfortunately, there's a soul inside that body that has the exact opposite need. It can't stand wasting a minute. Wasting a minute from what? From getting rich? From becoming powerful? No. From fulfilling its purpose. Another minute went by and I didn't fulfill my purpose. And without getting too highfalutin about it, without fulfilling my purpose means without having anything to show for it. To reduce it down to simple, I have nothing to show for the last hour. Ask me, what did I do the last hour? Not much. Not much, absolutely nothing, except breathe. And that feels terrible to the soul, depending on how sensitive your soul is. A truly sensitive soul, like the Rebbe, for example, if a minute went by and you don't have anything to show for it, it was horrendous. For most people, a weekend. The whole weekend went by and I've got nothing to show for it. That's a little embarrassing. Other people, a year. Last year was such a waste. I didn't accomplish much last year. Wow. Wow. What does that do to your soul? How about for the last 10 years? How about all my life so far? I've got nothing to show for it. So the pain of the soul over that failure will show up in the body. But it's not the body's problem. The body loves being inanimate. After all, it's just a lump of clay.
Rabbi Fridman, but where does the mind come into the mix of this body and soul?
Yeah, the mind is like a third party watching. The body wants to do nothing, the soul wants to do everything, and the mind is like, so which way is it going? Who's winning? It's a ping pong, like. So the mind is the observer of this dynamic that's going on. And the mind realizes that when the soul is not happy, the body is not healthy. That is such a fundamental psychosomatic effect. If the soul is not happy, the body is not healthy. But in reverse, when the body is not healthy, the soul is not happy. Because they're very interdependent. The body can't enjoy sitting on a couch without a soul, because then there's no enjoyment. And the soul can't accomplish anything if the body won't cooperate. So the couch potato does have a deleterious effect on the body, which makes the soul very unhappy.
But what is this concept of relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, that this is a good thing? How does that make sense then? Or does it?
It's only a partial solution. The body doesn't need to relax. The body needs to serve its purpose. When the soul and the body are working together, there's no need to relax, because you're getting something much better than peace. You're getting achievement, accomplishment, fulfillment. So the body really wants fulfillment, but the best we can give it is relaxation, which doesn't work for very long.
Does the concept of relaxing the mind works, or is that not at all a concept?
Yeah, it's the same thing. The mind wants to be able to show something for its time, for its life, that the fact that it can relax, that's good for 5-10 minutes, but well, I mean, look, who is going to boast about the fact that yesterday I relaxed for an hour?
Oh, you'll be surprised, Rabbi Friedman.
You're not proud of that.
I don't know. People are very happy to be relaxing and doing nothing, and seems to be like something that people most of the time even strive to do. That's basically the reason I'm asking this question.
Well, that's desperation. When you're so stressed and you don't know what the solution is, then you zone out, you relax. But that doesn't solve the problem at all. It's just like a little commercial break. But then you got to get back to the story. And the story isn't going anywhere. So, yeah. So here's the point. There's relaxation and there is satisfaction. What we really want is satisfaction. We want to be able to show something for our existence. When we can't do that, we get very stressed. And to counter the stress, we don't get any more satisfaction, we just get relaxation. Not going in the right direction.
Got it. Thank you so much for that answer. It's just, the View, couch potato, the show, The View, the couch potato kind of went hand in hand and got my mind in that direction. So I figured I'll ask.
It's really amazing how powerful that show, but the effect, the influence it has on people's thinking. And it's really sad because it's just people indulging themselves. There's no real direction. There's no real principle behind it.
And it's not very kind either. So a lot, as it was just proven yesterday with this kind of conversations.
All of media has become vicious. Yeah. Even comedy is not funny anymore. It's just vicious.
Yeah.
It's cruel and it's crude. It's a very sad evidence of the decadence and the collapse of a society. So people can say, well, that's our culture. No, it's the absence of culture. Don't call it culture.
Hopefully it's the end of that culture.
Yeah.
Rabbi Fridman, and now speaking of time, I don't know, but whoever I speak with, especially people who are more in touch with their souls, let's call them the spiritual people that are in touch with their souls, everybody is saying the same thing, that the time started to accelerate tremendously, that people are just don't understand where the time goes. And I don't mean like, personally, I can say the same thing. I started to notice that as well. And I don't mean the weeks go by very fast or the months. The hours, they started to absolutely disappear. There's no time at all. Time starts to go by very, very fast. The minutes, the hours. And I was told by people who are a lot more learned than I am that this means that this is something that's supposed to happen right before the time of Mashiach, right before Mashiach comes. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Is that a correct statement?
I've never heard that, so I don't know. But what is the difference between people who feel like time is moving very slowly versus people who feel like time is going by very fast? It's a matter of perception. It's not a fact, right? It's all subjective. So why would some people feel like time is very, very slow, it's dragging, and some people feel like it's going way too fast? What is it in their life or in their mentality that's producing these impressions? I think people who feel that time is going too fast is people who haven't managed to accomplish what they need to accomplish. And to them, it seems like, can you please slow down? I can't keep up with this. So people who are pressured, people who are ambitious, people who are, to them, time goes too fast. So like if you have a very fast metabolism, or your system is working on high speed, then you need time to slow down because you want to accomplish so much, and then, whoop, the hour's gone. How am I going to accomplish all I want to accomplish if the time speeds by? So you want time to slow down so that you can accomplish more. So these questions are all interrelated. Before the coming of Mashiach, we will become restless, impatient for something to happen. Now, you can either feel, why is it taking so long? I'm impatient. Something is supposed to happen. Well, let it happen already. Why is it so slow? So some people feel time is going way too slow. Other half of the population, I have to accomplish. I have so much to accomplish. Can you please slow down? So when you tell people Mashiach is coming, say, no, I'm not ready. Slow down. You're going too fast. Give me a couple of weeks, a month, something. So whether it's related to Mashiach or not, it's certainly related to the soul's dilemma. It wants to accomplish so much, but time and space put a limit on soulful activity. I want to learn everything, but I can't. I got to learn one thing at a time. It's such a slow process, and time keeps moving. So it's going too fast for me. The soul has been neglected. We didn't attribute much significance to it. I don't know. Is there a soul? Is there not a soul? All I know is I need to accomplish something, which is purely soul activity. So we've been so misinformed about what life is. Life is not the body. The body is only the vehicle. And a healthy vehicle, like a good car, is very useful. Especially today. 4-wheel drive, solves a lot of problems. But it's not the car's problem, it's the driver's problem. Whether the car functions or not is not the car's concern. It's the driver's concern. And the soul is the driver. So all the attention on the features of a car, can it do this, can it do that? Where are you going? Who's the driver? Where do you need to be? Yes, the car functions. Where are you going? Where are you going? That's the real question.
Rabbi Friedman, it's true what you said, that a lot of people are like, oh, Mashiach is coming, I'm not ready yet. I'm, and a little bit scared, and kind of, I don't know who would want to wait any longer for Mashiach to get here, like right this second, please.
Not right this second. Give me a reason. I want him to come quickly, but not that quickly. Give me like a reasonable amount of time.
But that is exactly my question. Do we know, is this going to be something very abrupt, very surprising, or is it something that people will kind of be able to ease into, get a little bit of the prep time, or how, do we know how this should work?
We don't know exactly, which is what makes it more exciting, but it seems like we're going to be busy getting ready for Mashiach, and then turn around and notice that Mashiach already came. I think that's what it's going to look like. So it will be totally unexpected, even though we're so busy expecting him. But the way he arrives will be like, how did he get in? He didn't come in through the front door. So the way it's going to happen is going to be a big surprise. That it happens, no, that we're working on. That's not a surprise at all. I guess in different words, who is going to make a difference in making the world decent? Because right now it's not decent. Where is the, I don't know, there's a tipping point in time, like when will there be enough goodness? But also, what is the source of this goodness that is going to tip the scales in the right direction? You'll be surprised. It's not going to come from the people you expect. It'll come from an unexpected source. In other words, people who you don't think are very good are the ones who are going to make it very good.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to talk about, but of course we ran out of time, is that there are a lot of goodness now coming from Russia, a lot of morality, a lot of really sanity is actually coming from that way, which we never would expect before. Rabbi Fridman, but unfortunately, we have so much to talk about, and there's 3 topics that I did not get to today that I think are also worthwhile talking about, so I really cannot wait till next Tuesday, where I can say, thank God it's Tuesday, and have more words of wisdom from you. It's amazing. So grateful for every second that you allocate for us. And thank you for everything you're doing on absolutely daily basis.
So this month, as you mentioned, this is the month of Adar. We have 2 of them this year because it's a leap year. The month of Adar is particularly positive, happy, and every day we have to increase in our happiness. And we were talking about happiness the other day online. How do you increase happiness? How do you make happy? It's very hard because there's no mechanism for it. Right? The way to do it is to become more enthusiastic. That's doable. Whatever good you're doing, do it enthusiastically. You know what that feels like. So you can't say, I wish I were happier. What should I do to be happy? Somebody make me happy. No, don't pursue happy. Pursue enthusiasm. It's doable, it's workable, and when you're enthusiastic, somehow the happiness comes along. So every day we should become more enthusiastic about the good things that we're doing. We have 60 days of it. By the end, we're going to be ecstatic.
Reverend Fridman, sounds like a great plan. Thank you so much. Certainly we'll try, and hopefully everybody who's listening to us will get on board as well. Rabbi Fridman, again, thank you so much for this time.
Ваши голоса звучат ясно и бескомпромиссно.
So
Наша гражданская позиция проста и понятна. Наши общие цели благородны и чисты. РУ-СА. Радио здравого смысла.